All right, let's get right into it. We're about to pull back the curtain on an ancient strategy, one that's playing out in boardrooms and, well, even in cubicles every single day. This is a masterclass in corporate survival, and it's all hiding in plain sight. You know that feeling, right? A project gets mysteriously sidelined, a rival gets that promotion you were gunning for, and you just can't pinpoint how it happened. It feels like you were completely outmaneuvered by forces you couldn't even see. But what if I told you those subtle power plays, all that invisible office politics? What if it's not random at all? What if it's actually part of a codified, centuries-old strategy? And that brings us right to the core of it. We're talking about a strategy so counterintuitive and so brutally effective that you might be a target of it right now and not even realize it. The classical name for this stratagem is Mán Tiān Guò Hǎi. It literally translates to steal the sky to cross the ocean. The name itself is a metaphor, really, for achieving something impossible by deceiving the highest authority, the sky. In our world, that sky could be the CEO, the board, or maybe even the system itself. Now here's the key takeaway, so listen close. Forget about secret meetings in dark alleys or whispered plots. The most powerful deception is wrapped in the mundane. It's using absolute, boring, day-to-day normalcy to make everyone around you so comfortable, they just stop paying attention. So how does this actually work? Well, it's not magic. It's a brilliant, cold-blooded exploitation of basic human psychology. Let's break down the two specific weaknesses it preys on. You see, this strategy works by taking advantage of two glitches in our mental wiring. First, there's vigilance fatigue, what I call the security guard effect. Our brains are built to notice what's new and different. So when something becomes routine, like a weekly status report, we stop scrutinizing it. We just check the box. The second is the Trojan horse effect. We tend to trust things that come in an official package. A sneaky agenda wrapped inside an approved project. It doesn't raise alarms because the container itself has already been blessed by the system. Okay, enough with the theory. Let's get to the playbook and see how this actually works in the real world. These are the tactics you absolutely need to recognize, whether you plan on using them or just defending against them. First up is a personal favorite, just for its sheer audacity: transparency bombing. The goal here is to hide something not by being quiet, but by being unbelievably, overwhelmingly loud. Here's how it plays out. You've got some bad news to report, something risky. Instead of trying to hide it, you do the complete opposite. You drown your target in data. You bury that one critical, damning detail in a footnote on, say, page 37 of a 50-page report. Faced with that wall of text, your boss just skims the summary and signs off. You see? You haven't lied at all. You've just weaponized the truth. Next, we have a maneuver for the more financially savvy strategist: yin-yang budgeting. This is how you fund the unfundable. The logic here is beautiful in its simplicity. You've got a pet project that would never get approved on its own merits, so you don't ask for it directly. You wait for a huge, absolutely essential company-wide initiative, like a multi-million-dollar tech upgrade. Then you just slip your little $5,000 request right into that massive budget. In the context of millions, your line item becomes a rounding error. It just sails right through. And finally, we have the most Machiavellian play of them all. This is how you neutralize a rival without ever looking like the bad guy. It's called the procedural trap. So here's the setup. You publicly, enthusiastically champion your rival for a high-profile project. To everyone else, you look like a fantastic, supportive colleague, but you know a secret. That project has no real budget or impossible deadlines. It's secretly doomed from the start. They, of course, accept the opportunity, work themselves to the bone, and then they inevitably fail. They end up looking incompetent while you look completely blameless. It's a masterpiece of political jujitsu. So let's just recap the playbook real quick. You're hiding bad news through information overload. You're securing hidden funds through concealment and scale. Or you're eliminating a rival by weaponizing an opportunity. No matter the tactic, the underlying principle is exactly the same. Each one is just a modern corporate version of Mán Tiān Guò Hǎi, hiding your real objective right out in the open. Okay, so now you can see the game, but just seeing it isn't enough, right? So now we pivot to defense. How do you actually protect yourself and your team from these kinds of maneuvers? The real question is, how do you become the manager who can't be fooled? How do you spot the trap before it's sprung on you? Here are your 3 key defenses. First, stop just checking the box. Don't just ask if a process was followed. Ask why it was followed. Second, be unpredictable. This whole strategy depends on routine, so you need to break it. Ask for a report on a Tuesday instead of a Friday. Demand the raw data, not just the summary. And third, trust your gut. If an employee who's normally quiet suddenly floods you with data, that's a red flag. Extreme transparency is often the best camouflage there is. Ultimately, it's so important to reframe how you think about all this. This isn't about being a sneaky ninja hiding in the shadows. No, it's about being a stage magician performing in a spotlight. Think about it like this. The magician waves one hand, that's the public routine, the official project, and that's where all your attention goes. But why? It's so you don't see what the other hand is doing, advancing the real, secret agenda. The deception works because you've been conditioned by that boring routine not to look there. So the game is revealed. The techniques are laid bare. You can now see both hands of the magician. The only question left is, what are you going to do with that knowledge?